What's up guys, Brendan Hancock here with another episode of Groove Subaru today, and today we brought along the 2019 Subaru Ascent. We're here in Morrison, Colorado with beautiful Red Rocks Amphitheater in the background, and today we're going to take a look at the third generation 8-inch Starlink touchscreen infotainment system. Let's go take a look inside. All right, so we're inside the 2019 Ascent, and this infotainment system is very similar to what we're seeing currently in like the 2018 Outback and Legacy, the 18 Crosstrek, the 18 Impreza. This one is going to come standard with the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and this is an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system. Now the different thing, this is a little bit different than the ones we have currently. This is a third generation of that, where I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're on like the 2.2 generation or something on the Outbacks now. So there's a couple updates, but for the most part, we're going to see a lot of carryover here from the previous generation. A couple things, same kind of setup that we have here on the modern, 18 Outbacks. The Forester does have an even older system on that for 2018. My guess is they'll probably throw this exact one into the 2019 Forester. But we do have the same kind of icons here. Under apps, a couple things that are a little different. I do notice the resolution is a little bit higher, but we are going to see Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And this is the 8-inch screen with the navigation that's built in. The base Ascent is going to come with a 6.5-inch version of this, so a little bit smaller. It's not going to have navigation built in, but it will still have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. In the Premium, it's going to come standard with the 8-inch screen, but it doesn't necessarily have the navigation built in, although that is optional. Likewise optional on the limited trim level, and then standing on the Touring, which is what we're in right now. But under apps here, same things that we've seen previously. We do have the Starlink app, AHA, and Pandora. The Starlink app it's a little bit confusing. A lot of people ask about this. They're like, oh, is that related to the Starlink safety and security system, the SOS button and stuff? It is not. The Starlink app is completely different. It has a couple of different apps within the Starlink app. So we have an iHeartRadio app, a weather app, a calendar app, and a couple of different other things. I believe there's even a bird watching app in there, if I'm not mistaken. And then both Pandora and AHA are both internet radios, just ways of listening to your music. With these, you just need to be connected via Bluetooth. I do not believe you need to be tethered like you did previously in like a 2018 Forester. We do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Those will be standard. We also have up here TravelLink. This is part of your SiriusXM subscription. So you have SiriusXM radio for, I believe, 4 months, and then you have the traffic that's also from SiriusXM for 3 years, and I believe this actually mirrors that portion of it. So you will have this for 3 years. It is kind of nice. You get fuel prices and stuff, and since you do have navigation, it will sort of sort this by either price or by distance you can do as well. So you also have sports in here that you can check. You can also check stocks, although the market does need to be open, and you do need to know the tag code for it. So if I wanted to search Apple, I'd need to say AAPL or whatever it is. I can also check weather here and check the forecast up to a 5-day, I believe. And I think since we're in Colorado, we also have a ski report. So pretty nice things to have out here in Colorado. The other app we're going to notice that's different though is the My Subaru. So the My Subaru app, if you have the upgraded version of the Starlink safety and security system, which is our telematics system, there's a new concierge service which you can actually schedule appointments at your Subaru dealer and access roadside assistance from here. Now you also will have the availability to download the My Subaru app on your phone, which for the first time will have remote start included. So we can do that. You can lock and unlock your phone. You can have stolen vehicle recovery, remote vehicle locator, in addition to some of the other features that are standard in the base package of that, which are emergency crash notification and enhanced roadside assistance, among a few other things as well. So you can, right here in your car, make a service appointment, which is pretty awesome. So we don't have the Subaru Star. I do have the app on my phone, but my phone's at 1% right now, so I'm not going to actually download that. But it kind of, when you pull it up, it kind of looks like this. So you would have like the iHeartRadio app, weather app, and a couple other things to do. Do be aware though, when you are using that, same thing with AHA, same thing with Pandora, you are using the service from your phones. You are going to be using data. Same thing if you're using CarPlay and Android Auto and you're using apps that are using the internet. Now the Touring does come with an available Wi-Fi hotspot, so if you do purchase that, you can do that as well. I think it's $20 a month. It's through AT&T. It's $20 a month, I think, for like an unlimited, or if you're a current customer, you can add different data plans for I think as low as $10 a month, if I'm not mistaken. Now if we go into phone here, it's going to look pretty much exactly the same as it has. I'll show you how easy it is to pair your phone. You just need to go into settings, find Bluetooth, say yes, I'd like to add a device. It'll pop up on your underneath, pairable devices on here, Subaru BT, just select that, hit pair on your phone, confirm here. There you go. Now, this is not actually my phone. I'm surprised you have this as Daddy's iPhone. Is that what you... that's what our cameraman's phone is called, so that's cool. So we got that going for us, which is nice. No, I don't want to redo that shot. I want people to know that, Andrew. So that's pretty easy. So you got to connect it. When you do it with CarPlay, though, you can have it either connected via CarPlay or from Bluetooth. The benefit of doing it through Apple CarPlay is that you know, when you use the voice button on the steering wheel, you're actually using Siri. You'll also notice when you're using some of the music apps, yes, you could play them through Bluetooth audio, which is nice, but when you tether it through the cable, I actually find that the sound quality is a little bit better. But if you want to have, you know, on here the same exact look that we have here, I think this redial feature might be new. I don't recognize that, so that's kind of nice. And if you want to change device, you can add up to multiple devices here. They just only one can be paired at the same time. So you can send and receive text messages easily, and very easy to set favorites. You would just go into your phone book. I didn't download it, but if you go into your phone book and just select the star name next to it, that'll show up right there for you. So pretty easy. This looks identical, like I said, though, just a little slightly higher resolution than the outgoing model. Now in here in the navigation, this definitely looks a little bit clearer as well, although the setup is quite the same. You can change kind of, if you tap the screen here, you'll have a couple things pop up, such as turning off the turn-by-turn directions. You can search for gas stations, and you can also turn off the traffic information, although I don't know why you'd want to do that. And then you can also zoom in and out. This is a full, like, you know, touch screen. You can kind of zoom in like this, turn it around and stuff. And then also you can change the view. My personal favorite is this one. This is a much more kind of first-person 3D view, where if I'm going forward and making a right-hand turn, it shows me going in the direction that I'm in. Now, to put an address in manually, you just go to search for destination, and then you would just type it in accordingly. I find typically you don't want to put the zip code in for whatever reason, but just type it in. You'll see a couple different options here. So let's say I put in the address for Groove Subaru. Come on, buddy. There we go. So we're seeing a couple different options down here. Sometimes if you can't see, you know, it right here, you can usually scroll over. It might be one of those options. So just from personal experience, if you can't find it, go that way. But this is what it looks like when you select that. It'll give you a couple of different route options here. So it goes from the shortest distance, the fastest one, and also the most fuel economic one that it predicts based on the traffic volumes and things of that nature. It even tells you the weather in that area. And you can go here to route options as well and avoid certain things such as highways, tolls, ferries. And if I wanted to set this as a favorite, I would simply tap that star there. So if I hit go, this is kind of what it looks like.
Route.
So you will get the turn-by-turn directions. Over here, you've got a couple different options that you can scroll through, either the time remaining, distance, or arrival time. I personally like arrival time because I see that as time to beat personally. And then let's say I wanted to cancel a route, I would just go over here, hit cancel. Now I did save that to a favorite, so if I wanted to access that again, I would just go to previous addresses. Under favorites here, I see that labeled as Groove Subaru, which is pretty cool. I could just hit the settings button here, and if I wanted to change the name of that to something else, that's how I would do it. As I just did there. So same thing if you wanted to set, you know, your home or something, I would go to previous addresses, favorites, and I could type in set home and just type in the address there for you. And then you can actually use voice activation and just say drive home, or if you put your work address in there, you could say drive to work, which is cool. So pretty self-explanatory. You can use voice activation. You're just simply going to say navigate to after the beep. Say the address pretty quickly, and then you don't want to say the zip code, likewise when you're typing it in there. So I'll demonstrate that for you. Navigate to 5300 South Broadway, Englewood, Colorado.
Five, 3, 0, 0, South Broadway, Englewood, Colorado. Do you want to start navigation?
Yes.
Proceed to highlighted route.
Easy peasy. Works like a charm. Awesome. So I'm going to take this out of favorites here for us. Previous addresses, favorites, and then to remove it, just hit the settings button, garbage can, delete. There you go. Easy peasy. So that's most of it right there for you. You can go to nearby places and stuff if you want to search. You know, if you're not looking for something super specific, typically I recommend, you know, actually just looking up the address on your phone or something, just because it can be a little bit tedious kind of going through this way and stuff. But it is an option if you just kind of more of an adventure and just kind of want to see what's around and try a new place. You can definitely do this as well. So those are all options for you there. Cool. So let's move on to the settings. There's definitely a couple settings and things here that I do recommend changing. So we'll start over here with general. This is most of the stuff that we have here is similar to what we're seeing in the 18 Outback with the one generation older infotainment system. But you do want to keep your brightness adjustment on auto. I do recommend that. So long as you have your headlights set to auto, one thing you do want to change, and you won't be able to see this from this camera's angles, but over by your left knee, there's a dimmer switch. You have 2 dots on the bottom and a couple dashes on the left side. You want to go 1 notch away from where the 2 dots are lined up so that it's lined up with the dash just above the dot on the left. And the reason for that is because when you do it that way and you have brightness adjustment on auto, when it's daytime, it keeps the screen nice and bright. And then at night when your auto headlights turn on, it will dim the screen ever so slightly. The farther you scroll, the dimmer switch up away from the 2 dots being lined up will just mean that it'll get even darker when those lights come on. So my personal opinion, just 1 notch, maybe 2 is the best. It's still easy to see everything, but you're not, it's not too dark where you're struggling to see things. A couple other things in here under general, we do have the Wi-Fi settings here. Now this is not the Wi-Fi hotspot, so we've had this in the 18 Outback. And what this is, you want to have that on, and when you get into your home, you want to find your network and pair to it. And that way it will automatically check for software updates, and all of the updates on this, including navigation now actually for the first time, will be updated over the air using the Wi-Fi. So once you pair to your home's Wi-Fi, what you want to do is you want to scroll down here to automatically check for updates. We want to turn that into the on position. And then whenever you pull into your garage, it's going to pair to your Wi-Fi. It'll let you know if your software is up to date or if you need to make any changes there. You can also do the check for updates manually if you'd like to as well. Now I'll double check, make sure I didn't miss anything on here. Yep, good to go. And then you do have the Wi-Fi hotspot now, which you can actually turn on too. So that is like a paid subscription thing you need to get. But you just go to Wi-Fi hotspot settings. You have the password and everything here for you. But that is not a free service to my understanding. In sound, there isn't too much stuff that you would have here. You do want to make sure you have the surround sound on. The Quantum Logic surround sound in this car is incredible. It's from Harman Kardon. It is absolutely amazing. I really recommend keeping that on. You'll notice more of a 3D sound feel to it. It's true surround sound and the best sound system I think we've ever had in Subaru. So, but for the most part, really what you would do would be EQ and sound position. You can change quite easily here where you want to focus the sound. So like my dad, for example, on road trips, we used to do it where I'd go all the way up here because he would listen to his books on tape, and then I'd be listening to my stuff in the back, and it wasn't it didn't interfere too much. So you can kind of change that around. I usually find you need to use these dots here to, once you get kind of close to the middle, to actually get it centered there. And then you can adjust your bass, treble, and mid-range tones, I guess, as well. So I'll just hit that to reset. Boom. Awesome. Yeah, and then most of this other stuff, you're not going to really change too much in here. Whatever you have, like let's say, for example, phone volume. So like let's say I'm on the phone and I make a call and I make some adjustments here up to 27, it's going to default back to that next time I go to that. So if I was in navigation and I wanted to change those turn-by-turn directions, I would simply turn those up. And then it would, if I turned it up to 20, for example, it would show 20 here. So we don't need to manually go in here and make any adjustments or anything like that. Under phone, not really. This is just going to pull up the same setting that we have here. So if I went to, for example, this is the same screen you see if you go to phone and then go to change device. It's the same kind of screen that we're going to see there. Under navigation, not too much stuff. You usually want to keep the route setting on fastest. You could go here to avoid highways or tolls and things like that if you wanted to. I recommend keeping it on junction view, and then if you wanted to save an address as work or something like that, also keep the arrival time on 12-hour unless you want to see it in 24-hour format there. But this is also where your navigation update stuff is going to be. You need to make sure you're paired to your Wi-Fi in order to do that, but for the first time, this is going to be able to be done over the air, which is awesome. Now under vehicle settings, since this one does come with navigation, you do want to keep your clock adjustment on auto. It's just going to use the satellites that you have for the navigation to kind of update that automatically. If you have the 8-inch screen or the 6.5-inch screen, if you have an Android device, for whatever reason, you can still keep it on auto, and so long as you use Android Auto, it'll take the time from your phone. But if you have an Apple device, you actually need to go to manual here, and then you'll actually use that 5.7-inch screen up here and go to push and hold the view button to access setting screen. So I'm going to push and hold that, and time and date is going to be up here, and I'm actually going to use this button to select select again, and I can change the time and date from there if I want to. So good to go though for us. So I'm just gonna keep it on auto because there's no reason not to. Now interior light, keep that on for 30 seconds. That's just if you unlock the car, the lights will stay on for 30 seconds if you don't get in it and start it up. You can change the keyless entry settings here. A lot of people like to change the driver door unlock setting to all. What that does is when you walk up to the driver's door, instead of just opening the driver's door, it'll open up all the doors. And truthfully, I think people that are buying this car, it probably is the way to go because you have a bunch of kids constantly getting in and out of the car and stuff as well. The other thing you might want to change too, auto door lock and unlock settings. I personally like where it's at from the factory. Doors lock at 15 miles an hour, but you can change the unlock to, for example, my personal favorite, when you shift into park. So this way, you're dropping kids off at school, you shift into the park, doors unlock, everyone out, you go back into drive, hit 15 miles an hour, and then you're good to go. I don't really recommend changing any of the other settings on that too. So, and the other thing you want to do, change the auto light sensor from the factory. It's going to come at mid. I actually changed it in this car earlier. Want to change that to min, M-I-N. And what we're changing here is not the level of darkness the lights will come on or off. Rather, we're changing the frequency at which the car will ask itself if it's dark outside. So at mid, every second, the car's like, is it dark, is it dark, is it dark, is it dark? So you go under an overpass for 2 seconds, it's going to be flashlights on, flashlights off. So on a long road trip, that could be hundreds of times that you're unnecessarily turning your lights on and off. And really, you want to have it on min. It'll only ask every 7 to 10 seconds. So really, basically, when the car needs it to come on. So not too much other stuff on here. We do have the media options over here. Still have the CD player in the trim level. I don't know if it's in the base model, to be honest with you, but it should be in premium and above. The CD, it's a one disc. We do have a USB option there. This will not illuminate when you plug in for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. This is rather, for example, if you want to play, you have like a USB drive that has music saved on it, you can do it that way. Kind of depends on the format that you have the files on. Sometimes it shows the stuff up here, sometimes it doesn't. You can also play Bluetooth audio here. And then we do also have the aux cord. I've noticed sometimes, depending on how old the iPod is, it may or may not, likewise, just like the USB, it might not display the music up here. But the nice option with that, though, is let's say you have someone in the car, they want to play music from their phone through the speakers, but you're expecting, for example, an important business call and you want the phone call to come through the speakers. You could be paired via Bluetooth and then select aux, and they can play music from their phone if they're sitting in the passenger seat. So that's really a nice option there. And then radio here. What? Sorry, did not think about that. My apologies. But we do have AM, FM, and satellite here. You can switch between all the options quite easily. And we have 18 different presets here down at the bottom. That can be any combination of AM, FM, or satellite. I do recommend when you're on FM especially, do turn HD on. It will give you slightly better sound. And also some frequencies will actually have multiple channels on the same frequency that are completely different radio stations. It's just pulling them from farther away. So with the Sirius XM, you do have the browse feature up here where you can browse through all the different stations. You can select different categories if you're unfamiliar with what stations you like, and then choose whatever station you want to. And then if you want to set something as a preset, you just go to an open spot, push and hold, bada bing, bada boom. And you can use on the left side of the steering wheel, there's 2 arrows directly to the left of the Subaru logo that you can scroll through from here to go between the different presets. So pretty cool there. If you want to do direct tune, you can always type it in that way, but usually probably easier to go this way. And then if we go to the next page, you'll notice how you have a couple of different pages here with lots of different options. That's so that you can add shortcuts. So shortcuts, for example, these are all shortcuts. A shortcut to phone, shortcut to map, shortcut to my Subaru app. But you can add different shortcuts. For example, if I want to have the Pandora app on my home screen, I can have that right there. Have it on kind of the home screen, makes it much easier to get through. You can even actually get really specific with them too. So for example, if I wanted to go down to settings and I want to have one for EQ and sound position, I can just go right to that. Makes it much easier, much faster to get to where you're trying to go. So you can fill all these pages up with different with different shortcuts. One of my personal favorite ones, we didn't download the contact list, but if you have friends with foreign names or a doctor where you have a bunch of parentheses and stuff in the name, and so voice activation is just having a really hard time making the call, you can always go to add shortcuts. So long as you have your contacts downloaded, go to phone and then scroll to the bottom, it'll say call contact. So you can actually have, for example, mom, dad, brother or sister, on here with their name, and you just tap the button and it will call them, so long as you're connected either through CarPlay, Android Auto, or via Bluetooth audio. So those are some fun options for you as well. And you can even actually have specific radio stations on here too. So if you went to radio, you could do FM station, and then you can type it in. Boom. So instead of having to tap 2 buttons to get to it, like this and like that, I can do just 1 button, which is awesome. So you can also actually move these around as well. So if I wanted this radio icon to be on the next page, I can do that as well, and can really kind of customize it to your own liking. Now you can also change the background here. So if you go to settings, under general, we have driver profile here. I would simply hit add profile. I could type in a name here if I wanted to. Boom, 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 perfect. Go to next. And then I would select Daddy's iPhone. Nice, Andrew, nice. And then I could put these addresses in if I wanted to, or I can just skip to the next. And then these are the options. I like this a lot better. They look like they're the same options that we had previously, plus these ones are definitely all new. But the cool thing is they're much easier to see. For whatever reason, it was just so dark and difficult to see what the backgrounds actually looked like until you brought them up, and they've definitely improved that quite a bit. So this is a new one. I kind of like this. So then I'll hit next, boom, finish, bada bing, bada boom. Now the cool thing with this is that when you change your background and create that profile, if I go to settings here, I'll see driver profile. I've created it there. But let's say, for example, multiple people frequently drive the car. So if mom drives the car and she wants that background, when it pairs to her phone, it'll bring up her stuff here. It'll bring up all of her presets on the radio and stuff if she has all jazz stations. And then when dad gets in the car, it'll show the background that he selected when it pairs to his phone with all his presets and everything there too. So that makes it definitely very nice when you have multiple drivers that have perhaps different tastes in music and things of that nature. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the infotainment system. Hopefully you guys have found this video to be helpful. If you guys have any questions specifically, please leave those in the comments. We'll be happy to get back to you. And make sure to like this video if you like what you saw, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time on Groove Subaru Today. Take care.